Hello, everyone, and welcome to Linkway Diplomats Hour. My name is Daniel Ima. Today, we're going to discuss some important things with our guest here on the program today. We know that many Nigerians in diaspora, especially in the United States, are hardworking people. But one thing they don't want to give up is their time away with their family back home, to have their holidays with their loved ones. Early this year, many have made their travel plans, but they canceled it because of the COVID-19 problem. And now people are actually revisiting their travel plan. And they are wondering if their documents and documentation could be ready to catch up with their flight. With me to discuss this today is my guest. Is an ambassador designate, Ambassador Innocent Aloma Iwejo. And with me here in the studio is my guest.
Good day, everyone, and my name is Adetola Adeolu Balogun. I'm a human resource specialist, and it's a pleasure to be here at Linkway. We hope that you enjoy your time with us and you will have clarity on a lot of questions that you intend to ask the ambassador. Welcome, ambassador. Thank you for.
Thank you so much, Linkway Diplomats, for having me.
Thank you.
Merry
Thank you for
Christmas.
being with us here. We're going to start immediately. The questions that we are asking is that Nigerian Americans are major players in the diaspora and remittance subsector of Nigerian economy. Many are looking beyond, sending money to their family members for support. They are trying to look beyond that to go into investment back at home, to care for their loved ones instead of sending money to them. So how do you make this one possible for these prospective investors?
Thank you so much, Mr. Emma. First of all, before I respond to that question, I would like to bring you greetings. One greeting from the Honorable Consul General, Excellency Ambassador Designate Aishatu A. Musa. She was supposed to be here with you on this program, but owing to some prior engagement, she was unable to make it, and she has requested me to represent her and the Consulate in this program and to actually have a good conversation with you. So I'll also bring you one greeting from our colleagues, one Christmas and New Year greeting from the Consulate General of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Atlanta, from where I am representing. So I thank you, as a matter of fact, for having me in this program today. And thank you again. Now, coming to the issue of the willingness of the well-meaning Nigerians living in the United States to go beyond normal family-to-family remittance. We normally call it family support. And they would like to have something better than that to represent their interest. Most Nigerians are doing perfectly very well in the United States in all their various areas of endeavor, call it in the medical sector or in the financial sector, building sector and construction, in ICT and finance, anywhere. But one thing that has not really registered positively is the ability for them to translate their wealth of expertise and knowledge gathered all over these years, living in the United States, back home to represent. And that is why diaspora is very, very important. When you look at where our forefathers who initiated diaspora, Nigerians in Diaspora Association and Organization, the major intention they had was to tap from the ancient tigers who they borrowed this idea of making use of the diaspora, tapping into their wealth of knowledge, expertise, and intelligence back home to help us to develop the nation. Most of these countries like Malaysia, Indonesia, and all the rest of them, they have already gone far. But because they have galvanized and worked collaboratively with their diasporas. That was why when former President Olusegun Obasanjo initiated this Nigerian Diaspora Organization over a decade ago, the intention was to attract our well-meaning professional diasporans from all over the world to come and help us toward the development of our home country. But the question becomes, we've not been able to achieve that due to one challenge or the other. But today, I want to tell you that federal government of Nigeria has had a lot of intentions and good plans for us to harness the potentials of our diasporas. Now we look, sometimes you say diasporas, they repatriate over the 24 billion US dollars back home annually. So when you check when you analyze this quantum of financial resources they transfer, you know that most of the greater percentage goes to personal and the family support and personal projects. But this is not the actual target. The target, like you haven't asked, is how can we take advantage of our diaspora investment opportunities to help us to develop a sector, bearing in mind that the private sector remains the engine of economic growth. No government can do it alone. So we need our diaspora professionals to bring their intelligence, expertise, knowledge, and wealth of professionalism back home and help us to develop the economy, thereby creating employment and developing the non-federal government sector. Now, I will tell you that government has a lot of incentives and a way of trying to encourage our diasporans to make sure that they think home and invest home. One of the major incentives is what we are having here today with me. Representing the Consulate General of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I man the desk on economic, trade, and investment of promotion in this country. So I am also in charge of the Nigerian Diaspora Organization. So there's no better person for you to hear from what the Consulate representing the federal government of Nigeria here is doing to encourage our diasporas. So the federal government has made available its embassies and consulate or other missions, especially the commercial desk all over the world. The Nigerian government has present in about 119 countries where we have diplomatic missions, and each of these diplomatic missions have their economic, trade, and investment desk where we are supposed to collaborate with our parents who wish to come back to Nigeria, give them information, guide them, and direct them on how best to do. One of the greatest challenges that most our diasporans, the mistake they make in trying to embark on a successful investment drive to Nigeria is that of circumventing the diplomatic missions and doing it their own in a private way. You know, whichever you look at it, trust is very important in every engagement you're going to make. You want to make with your government or with your interpersonal relationship. Now, government has established diplomatic posts in various countries, and these diplomatic have commercial desks where you are supposed to go directly and say, hey, my compatriot, my mission, my government, I have a partner that I want to go to Nigeria to invest. What do I do? Which institution do I get involved with in Nigeria? Who do I contact? What are the modus operandi to link up to make sure that I establish this? Then the diplomatic mission through the desk officer will now educate you on what to do. And depending on the bankability of that project or invention, once you check Nigeria, the mission will now take over it and be on the driver's seat on your behalf, and not dispossessing you of your investment, but be on having understood and then seeing how bankable your potential investment will going to be. It will now take over it, tidy it up, and then link it up, channel it to the appropriate MDA, that ministry, department, or agency that is supposed to be the beneficiary of that would be investment. Now, that is when we now organize what we call trade and investment trade mission. This trade mission is always planned by the consulate in collaboration with the potential investor, Nigerian or its allies. And then we go to that place and they physically represent you and they now introduce you to that institution. Is it Ministry of Trade, Industry, Trade and Investment, or Ministry of Health, or any sector of the country? Now, by the time the sector or that Nigerian institution realizes that federal government institution, the consulate or the embassy official is involved, whatever you say is the truth, and they will follow it clearly and then give you the audience you desire. But if anything goes to the contrary and this compatriot decides to circumvent the diplomatic mission in the country he is domiciling and goes on his own, the first impression will be, who is this person? What is the possibility of this investment being? Has he been able to do all the due diligence using the presence of a diplomatic mission there before he start coming to this place? So oftentimes, some of us in diaspora they make this mistake, and when they go there and hit rock, they will come back to us. They start bemoaning and start blaming the federal government. Say, oh no, nothing works in the country. It is not true. Everything works in the country. We are open for business. The federal government of Nigeria is open for business, and that is why the government spent a lot of money funding the diplomatic missions abroad, and especially the federal investment sector, the commercial center. One of the major reasons for establishing diplomatic post is for that post to now work for, promote and project the economic interest of its country abroad. So if you don't achieve that, we are not living up to our expectation as a diplomatic mission. So we need to collaborate with our Nigerians in diaspora as the first step to make sure we achieve this. That is one diaspora to think of investing home. Now, the second step is the issue of making the environment conducive. So you know that government has today what we call because aware of the fact of the encumbrances, the potential investor, both Nigerian and expatriates, used to experience those days trying to register their businesses in Nigeria. Government has, in its vision, has decided to make what we call one-stop shop location of investment with the president of Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission. Now, today, a potential investor, whether Nigerian diaspora or a foreigner, could confidently come to Nigeria and they go to the NIPC and they register his or her business on the same umbrella or in the same office, get all the registration, get all the certification, get everything information you require, and then you are ready to go for business. So there is no encumbrances again, there's no bureaucratic bottleneck, there's no delays, no hidden costs. You go there and register your presence, register your company, and you are ready to do business. And government has made it so important that realizing the importance of initial investment, there is what we call tax holidays, 5 years moratorium tax holidays that enable the potential investor who is investing newly to now make sure he is tax-free and then get the environment adequately protected and then get your investment fixed and before you start thinking of paying tax. That's a way of motivating you to now get established, get stabilized in your business. And of course, there are varieties of areas of investment which you can think of in Nigeria. Government has also made it possible for the private sector to now think of investing your money and recouping it 100% without recourse to government influence. Government is no longer compulsory for government to say, I have a share in your business. If you can decide to have your 100% share in your business, and all you need to do to pay the relevant business-related taxes to government, and you recoup your revenue, the benefits will proceed for environment 100%. In fact, foreign investors can also get their veta and remit back to their country if they so desire 100%. There is no government influences. Of course, government has also established legal framework to protect any investor that wants to invest in Nigeria. And these legal frameworks are keyed into international framework that make it possible for any business conflict to be resolved. An individual investor can take sue governments to court if you feel that any government agency has gone contrary to the conditions, terms, and understanding of the business. And you can defeat the country because it is government observe international best practices when it comes to foreign direct investment. So because if you don't key into international best practices in terms of legal system, you cannot do business. You cannot attract foreign direct investment. So our government institutions are aware of this, and that is why you can still have your investment adequately protected to ensure that the fear of losing your investment to poor legal system shouldn't arise. Most importantly, I want to let you understand that before now, in recent time, when you talk of fiscal policy as it affects government investment, diaspora remittances into Nigeria, prior to 30th November this year, it was becoming increasingly difficult for our diaspora to transfer their dollars into Nigeria without having encumbrances. That was creating problem to the extent that we are not, some of them will transfer their money in their domiciliary account. You can't even get the same dollar. The money can be paid with in Naira. And of course, their value may not be there. But I mean, based on this, having considered all this, in the Central Bank of Nigeria on the 30th of November 2020, this year, realizing the encumbrances this was creating, and that we are losing foreign exchange coming into, even dollar coming into our country legally. In fact, a lot of other corners are being caught that was not in the interest of the economy. So the central bank governor, in his wisdom, decided to come up with a policy to review the issue of remittances into the country in such a manner that went back to the process whereby you could actually transfer your money, I mean, to remit your money directly to your domiciliary account, and then have access to it in the same dollar value without any encumbrances. If you like, also you can also get your money cash. It's two ways. Either you transfer, put it into their domiciliary account, and anytime you want to access your money, you also access your same dollar value and go to any private market to make exchange rate. Or you can also go to the bank, like you used to have Western Union money transfer. Those days, you present your particulars and you get your cash, your dollar cash. And this is expected to really inject new initiative, new possibilities into our economy and attract foreign direct investment in the form of foreign currencies. So this became effective recently on the it took effect on Friday, with effect from Friday, 4th December. This policy became effective. So the aspirants are being invited to never to set aside any fears of sending they should not go to black market again, because what you find in black market, you get it in federal government market, genuine market, in central bank, and all your private banks. So there's no cause for alarm again. You can now transfer your $10,000, $100,000 directly to your domiciliary account unfetteredly, and have access to it on the same currency without any challenges. So with that, encumbrances is in order to improve and encourage trade and investment come flow from abroad into our country. Now, I want to tell you another important factor. Now, before now, I said that the private sector is the engine of economic growth, right? Now, what are the challenges facing our private sector in accessing global markets? The major challenge is the dollar value, the ability to broker global market through dollar, through having access to advertisement and publications. But most our investors are, especially the private sector SMEs, they find it difficult due to the challenges of accessing global market to present themselves, because even though they have good investment opportunities, they have good products, good services that can be comparable with that abroad. But the problem is the challenge, the dollar challenge and other difficulties that experience in accessing global markets. So having acknowledged this, the federal government through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs it developed this initiative called Nigerian Economic Diplomacy Initiative, NIDO. And this NIDO is the initiative of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Ambassador Iweje,
yes.
I'm going to intercept you on this because we have 1 hour for this program and we are going by the hour. If we give you an opportunity, you will explain everything to us. You break it down to the simplest factor for us. But we thank you so much. We have to move forward on this program today. We thank you so much for breaking it down for us. And we know that our viewers are ready. You've been able to motivate them, to invest in Nigerian economy. But before we go for a break, we know that our viewers are waiting. They are actually itching to ask you questions because you did a very good job. I'll take you on a similar questions again. I know you talked about the trust, that have, American investors, Nigerian American investors should trust Nigerian government so that they don't go behind, to do it in the private sector or through their family. There is an opportunity for them to come into investment in Nigerian economy through government. But one thing that we have to ask that is a discouraging factor to most of Nigerian American investment, and also friends of Nigerian American that also want to invest in Nigeria, is the environment. You talk so much about environment, but one important thing that you forgot or you didn't mention is the security environment. I mean, can you tell us what is the security, environment for Nigerian American investors in Nigeria now look like, especially if there is any provisions like what I would call diasporan investment security insurance or something like that? Is there any provision for us? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So thank you so much. I was coming to that, but you call me short. That's fine, no problems. Because we have to work with time available. Absolutely. There is no environment, there's no country economy that expects foreign direct investment without having adequate security of investments, especially through fiscal security. Fiscal security very important, and that was why, if you listen to me very well, you see I did mention on the issue of legal framework, because everything that has to do with security of investment is centered on legal framework. And I mentioned that the legal framework we have in Nigeria is such that protects the investor, the individual investor, to the extent that if any investor feels that there have been a malpractice that affects his or her investment, he can go to the he can quickly go to the arbitration, international arbitration committee, the investment committee, where you can present your case and then seek redress. As a matter of fact, and seek redress. And of course, we have banks, we have also financial institutions, we have insurance, Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation. This Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation is the insurer of all investments, including the financial sector. And we have what we also call a minimum level of investment, at which that the investment is adequately secured. So for you to come and invest in Nigeria, we have this insurance deposit, National Insurance Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation, where depositors' investments, especially in the financial sector, are guaranteed. Again, we have also international arbitration panel, where in global or international business litigations are settled, not minding whether government is involved versus individual investor. So these things are already taken care of. And the Central Bank of Nigeria also has a lot of policies that make sure that it checkmates any malpractice that has to do with investment. So these things it has international global practices, and we are not, we don't rule it out, and we are not unaware of these things, and these things are guaranteed as a matter of fact, just like it's practiced in America and other in developed climes.
We appreciate you for coming on. There are so many things that we didn't know before, but you have educated us enough, and we appreciate you for that. We are going to go on commercial break after this time. Viewers, stay with us. When we come back, we are going to take some questions, and we believe that Ambassador is here to do justice to all your questions. Thank you for being with us. Don't go away.
Thank you, Mr.
The world could be a better place with love and unity. Together, we shall conquer the world. Linkway Diplomats is working to solve problems in needy areas such as water problem, community empowerment, community health, basic education, temporary shelters for homeless and travelers, rehabilitation and integration for inmates. Linkway Diplomats, linking people with people. Your community resource network.
Thanks for staying with us. To complement government's efforts at providing portable drinking water, a United States-based non-governmental organization has provided a borehole to address the water challenge being faced by the Zangie community in Nasarawa State. Agatha Joseph Obioha reports.
Water, they said, is life. This is the river where the gay community access their drinking water. Residents of this community, located in Kari local government area of Nasarawa State, are predominantly farmers and lack access to potable drinking water for decades before Linkway Africa came to their aid.
Our passion is to meet the critical needs of the needy communities.
Our vision is to provide water support, education support, and then health support and food support.
And it's this community that is benefiting for the first time from within the African region.
The community, who could not hide their joy, expressed gratitude to the donors and pledged to make proper use of the facility.
Yes, sir, I'm happy with them. The thing that we are doing for this village, for the village of Zanje, we are happy with them.
Because we have been suffering for water for so long, which is why sometimes we don't have water able to take our bath, no water to take bath. But for today, we are very, very happy for that.
Before they suffer, what they drink this river water, what they go, disease everywhere.
Linkway African Outreach Ministry is a faith-based non-governmental organization which was incorporated in 2010 to care for people and communities in need. From Kefi, Agatha Joseph Obioha, NTA News.
Welcome back, our viewers. Thank you for staying tuned. Once again, this is Linkway Diplomats, and we have with you our Honorable Ambassador. Thank you, Ambassador, for spending time with us and educating us so much. It's been a pleasure to get to know about all the information. Just one thing before we go to the questions that some of our viewers have sent in. I know that you mentioned that now it's easier for Nigerian Americans and even their friends to do business with the Nigerian government going through your office. But can you just quickly shed one more light on this? Are we supposed to come directly to the office, or is there a website? Is there a link we need to fill in to start this process?
So much. Actually, in the Consulate platform, we have a link you can go. When you go to when you go to www.nigeria-consulate-atl.org, so you see our commercial platform. Here you can get a lot of information about investment opportunities in Nigeria. This didn't go to the same links in Nigerian embassy in Washington, D.C., of course, Nigerian consulate in New York. If you go to each of the consulate website, we see investment opportunities. All of them are the same. But if you are under the consular jurisdiction of this, and you know you have already made up your mind to have a potential investment, the best bet is for you to make an appointment. Make an appointment with the Economic Trade and Investment Desk officer, and then come and discuss this business. I mean, there are some ideas that you may have, and then if you discuss with the relevant officer, he can now help you to readjust it and give you, adjust it in such a manner that you will now package your proposals in such a manner that it can now be taken back. The consulate can key into it and help you to really achieve that objective. So it's in two ways. The preliminary information can be gotten from our website, and then when you want now to make it nitty-gritty, zero it down to take-off stage, you can now come and have conversation. It is really very important. That's all we need. When you have the conversation and tell the person the area wants to invest, and then it can give you a further guidance, and then together we can now start looking at which government institution back home that is relevant to that aspect of your investment. I think that's how you can go.
All right, thank you so much for shedding more light. I have a few questions for you here. Some of them are a bit similar, so I would like to merge them together. The first question would be on the issue of passport renewal. I have with me Dio from McDonough in Georgia, and also Paul from McDonough as well. And they both said they tried to renew their family's passport. One of them started in 2019, while another started this year, August 2020. But till date, they have no update or feedback from from your office, sir. So they are wondering what's going on. When one of them, who is Dio, contacted the office, he said they were only taking or responding to emergency requests. So can you please enlighten us more on how long the process usually takes, what is causing the delay, so that our people can be at rest? Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. The issue of renewal of travel documents by various Nigerian missions in the United States is something that we don't joke with. We understand that most Nigerians would like to travel home to see their loved ones. One important thing I want us to understand today is that prior to this 2020 pandemic, the various diplomatic missions in Nigeria, Washington, D.C., Atlanta, and New York had always maintained a consistent relationship and consistent work ethic when it comes to the issue of consular attentions and the immigration issues. So, which borders on processing of passports. In Nigerian Consulate Atlanta, where I'm talking from, we have been working hard, working assiduously to make sure that every Nigerian that applies for the renewal of their passport are gotten. The most important one challenge we have noted over the years is that most of the delays that Nigerians exercise or experience in processing in renewing their passports come from their inability to do the appropriate completing of the form online. Some of them find it difficult, have some constraints, and maybe if you complete your form and you have some mistakes, because what we issue today is e-passport, and e-passport is something that is so sensitive in such a manner that if there is any any mistake in the completion of the new form from the one we want that has expired, I want to renew, it will affect that processing and it leads to avoidable delays. You know, for you to have a success in renewing your e-passport, you will make sure that you go online and then complete the online form, do the payment online, print the 3 documents, which include the payment slip, acknowledgement slip, and then the form itself. Once you succeed in doing all these things, the next thing is to make an appointment to come to the consulate. Sometimes Innovate Services gives you automatic appointment. And when you stick the appointment, you come on that day, your passport will be renewed. But sometimes if you make a mistake and make name change, name configuration, if your name is like Innocent Aloma Iwejo, when you had the first passport and you want to renew it and decide to change it Innocent Iwejo Aloma or anything, it will have what we call affixed rejection. Once that affix rejects it automatically online, it is a sensitive thing. It will continue to show the problem until it is rectified. And the easiest way to rectify it is for you to go back to the drawing board and have to complete another form. That is very important because it is been reading that the one you have completed is different. Information you fed in this one is different. But sometimes we try to read these Nigerians on the telephone. If you don't get them or send an email, you don't get all. Maybe they did not give us any information, we can read them. That is what leads to the delay. So based on experience, the period of processing currently is not, it doesn't take time again. Prior to COVID, during this COVID era, in fact, the consulate was working. We opened as early as we resumed work since June this year, and we are doing internal work, taking care of students who are more vulnerable. Their F1 visas, if FFS need to be renewed, and when their Nigerian passport got expired, we needed to provide them, even at the risk of this infection. We are going to office since June. We are going to office and attending to this student until when we officially open the public on the 14th September this year. Since 14th September till now, because you know that we want to enter the what we call Ember month, most Nigerians who had accumulated problem of have their passport renewed would now have their travel document renewed. So we've been working, and let me tell you something, we have not experienced anything like shortage of passport booklets, interestingly, and we have always no passport states more than 1 week before it is issued now. The only delay could be the postal systems, because they have had improved system in making sure that our passports are issued, once you get your captured, within a space of 48 hours, your passport is printed. except there's any problem. And once a passport is printed, we now send it to the post. Maybe at in transit, that's if it gets delayed sometimes. But I tell you, no passport stays beyond 7 days before we issue it this time around. So, but what we have also encouraged most Nigerians who are not able to make it is that if you feel you have to travel promptly and you don't have sufficient time, you can apply for what you call emergency travel certificate. That one can be issued within 24 hours of, in fact, if you come physically, go with it on that day because you don't joke with it. But to conclude that, the greatest challenge and the message the consulate want to convey to our Nigerian community when it has to do with renewing our passport is that you don't have to wait until you have emergency before you renew your expired travel document. This is the greatest challenge experience. We come to understand that if their American passport expires, they go and renew it promptly. But when their Nigerian passport expires, we have seen certain situations where a passport expires for 5 good years, they have not. That's another 5-year cycle of the validity of the passport. Nobody has gone. But if there's a death in that family, God forbid, because nobody expects that, it's unforeseen. When there is death or any challenge, they will see them rushing and want us to renew the passport within 24 hours. We work with timetable, and it's usually possible for us. So we encourage Nigerians to always check their passport and ensure that as soon as it expires, they come and renew it. They have nothing to lose if they renew it and there's no emergency. But if they renew it and have to travel by emergency, they don't have anything to have to get stressed. And I want to let you understand too that if you want to apply for Nigerian passport anywhere, don't go to any mid person. Come straight, go to our website and they apply, do the online application. We don't have agents around us. We don't have any business center. We say that that's the person that works for us. You come straight to the consulate. If you have questions, ask the consular officers that are available, or call us on our telephone, or send us our email, better still. So if you go through those agents, they exploit you. I have seen people where they say a passport of $77 for the children and the senior citizen. When you call senior citizen, means from 60 years and above, they pay official fee of $77, just like students under 18 years. But then for people in the middle, you pay $106. But people have ended up spending as much as $300, $400 for one renewal of one passport. That is not done, and we don't do that. So that is what I want you to take to the Nigerian community today. Thank you, please.
Much, Ambassador. But on this question, I just want you to shed more light for the people who asked the question, because I think they went through the right processes, did all they had to do. They also self-addressed the envelope to, receive the passport. But till today, there's not been any communication. What step can they take to ensure that they get their
in that
documents?
case, I don't know what could have been the problem. There was a time that the postal system was not supportive. We are having a lot of challenges. We will produce passport and mail them. They will get missing in transit. But it has drastically reduced now because we are checkmating and following up, make sure we do due diligence with the postal system. But whatever is the case, what I will advise these applicants to do is to write a letter immediately. Furnish us with any information. If you have the collection slip that was issued them at the point of their capturing, when they were captured at the consulate, their biometrics were captured, let them send a letter to info@nigeria-consulate-atl.org. I repeat, info@nigeria-consulate-atl.org. Make a petition there, and then state that this reference was made as one of the questions through when we had this conversation today. And if you can copy iwejo@yahoo.com and draw attention that situation. I will bring it to the attention of the immigration department, and we'll follow it up squarely and get to the root of it, make sure that the problem is addressed. We always have our emails open to people. If you have such challenges, we always encourage them, instead of calling, better say, let them send us an email so that we have enough time to go into our system and find out what the problem is, and we give them the appropriate response and solution to their problem.
Thank you so much, sir. I believe that our viewers are getting, clarity on these issues. I have one more question from Dr. Agburu from Fayetteville in Georgia, and it says, what are the reasons why Nigerian visa is too difficult to obtain by Nigerians who hold dual citizenship?
Can you say that again? One of the reasons to say why? Is one of the reasons?
Yes, he was asking why Nigerian visa is too difficult to obtain by Nigerians who hold dual citizenship.
To the contrary, I will say I am not sure whether that question is quite representational of what obtains in actual sense, because the cheapest, the easiest passport, visa we process is the one that was applied by Nigerians who have a dual citizenship. You know, reason we waive a lot of conditionalities for them. Because if you maintain dual citizenship, that means you are a Nigerian citizen and as well as United States citizen. Now, if we are going to Nigeria, if we are using your US, you are a Nigerian citizen and you are using your US passport to apply for Nigerian visa, and just like another American is using his American passport, who is not a dual citizenship, using his passport to apply for Nigerian visa. There are documents that we request from this American applicant that you don't request for Nigerians. The issue that if you are a Nigerian, the issue of hotel reservation is waived for you to start with. The issue of residential address is waived for you because if you apply, you present the data page of your Nigerian passport, and we know that you are Nigerian. These other things like which hotel are you going to stay, whatever these things are waived. And again, you know that we want to have it, we immediately, because our visa stays minimum of, between, if the government instruction is that within 48 hours to issue or reject visa. And we make sure that within 48 hours, if we are going to reject your visa based on anything, we tell you. And then tell you why. If there are additional documents, we tell you. But if you don't give you any information within 48 hours, within the period of, because if depending on whether it's on weekday or weekend or public holidays, within the maximum period of five days, your visa is ready for shipment, and it is shipped. So they should understand that from the time you apply to the time you are screened, to the time you do your biometrics, to the time it is eventually issued, and to the time it's sent to the mails, these things are factor. Just like American visa application is done in this place too. So I don't think it is appropriate for one to say that it is too difficult for Nigerians to have dual nationality to have their Nigerian visa. That is not representational, I bet you. So we stand, let the person give us evidence to prove that if he's sure of what he's saying, so that if there is anywhere making the mistake, we will know his state in correcting that. But I tell you that is the fastest one we process, because they are our citizens. The difference is because you are going back to your nation, but you want to fully fulfill all righteousness by expecting you to also apply. So it doesn't mean that you don't delay at all.
Okay, thank you so much, Ambassador. I have another question for you, and this person wants to know why is it, it's very difficult to obtain. I know you've explained that, but the person is now referencing that sometimes money exchange hands while collection of this document, just to fast track and all of that. And I know that you are the one in the office. Can you shed more light on it so that our viewers at home know exactly what is going on in the consulate, sir?
Thank you so much. I want to tell you without mincing words, without fear of any contradiction, that there is no officer in the Consulate General of Nigeria that influences any visa application or passport that is made by a Nigerian. When I was explaining the issue of travel document, I told you that Nigerians should learn how to go in the comfort of their homes, and they go to their computer and they apply for their passport renewal or even visa applications. What obtains is this. There are people that call business centers. We have about 2 of them in our vicinity. Unfortunately, they are just too close to comfort to the consulate. Now, Nigerians, I don't know whether I would say they are ICT phobia. Let me use that out of quote. Why am I saying that? If you sit in your comfort of house and apply for your passport, if you are a senior citizen or a child below the age of 18, what you are going to pay is $77 and no other amount. If you are within the age of 19 and 59, you pay $106. And no other person has any business with you, except that day you come for your biometrics, and that's all. But what obtains, unfortunately, is that some of these our applicants, Nigerian compatriots, Instead of them, they appear to be very busy, or they don't like ICT, or don't like computer, they don't have time. Combination of whatever that is pleasing to them. They tend to patronize the business centers who are open for business, and they play into their hands. What do they get in return? Exploitation. Anybody that opens for business, they have to pay their rent, they have to take care of their bills. So you go to them and they give you service, and you want to pay, you pay. And it is not our responsibility to tell those people to close, because the open government approved their institute, their business. And they did not force you to go to that place. And the council did not send you to go to that place. We are open as they bring your document and we process for you. So it is not appropriate for them to say that money exchanges hands. By who? Do they have an example? I challenge them, let them come with an example, an instance where an official of the Consulate General of Federal Republic of Nigeria in Atlanta, whether locally recruited staff or home-based officers, had exploited you by any means, and then you follow it to this data. Make sure that the person is adequately prosecuted within the ambit of law. If you are a home-based officer, it may lead to your losing your job. You'll be sent back to Nigeria, because this is not what they're sent here to do. If you are a local staff, locally recruited staff that perpetrate that kind of ill, you will get the appropriate punishment. But I tell you, let the person not say lip service. Come with an example and see what will happen. Of course, there is no institution that does not experience the fraud or whatever. It is not appropriate. Sometimes there are bad elements, but I tell you, we need an example to discipline the person and use the person as an example for others to follow. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ambassador, for allaying the fears of our viewers and everyone who will get to watch this production anytime soon. We thank you for answering these questions, and I will yield to...
Thank you so much. We appreciate you, and we're going to go on short commercial break. When we come back, we are going to move very fast at this time, because time is no more our friend. Thank you so much for being with us. Our viewers, do not go away.
NIDO hospitals, not just the building, but highly equipped with great infrastructure, because our aim and our goal is to be a world-class healthcare provider using cutting-edge technology.
Being a part of NIDO Hospital has inspired me to keep walking the line and remaining strong in my values.
It's our joy to see baby being delivered, whether premature or term, because the mother, the joy that radiates after being discharged.
This would not have been possible if our patient did not believe in our ability.
We do virtually all kinds of clinical investigations and use all forms of diagnostic method.
Quality healthcare is what we do. Quality service is what we deliver.
And here, caring for our patients means we feel what they feel.
Being rewarded with the content smiles of happy clients is my perfect NIDO story.
Do you want to live stream your seminars, workshops, funeral, conferences, blogs, or interviews on your Facebook page or your own YouTube channel? Offstage Pass can do just that. Call us today at 678-480-1161 or visit our website at www.offstagepass.com for more information.
Welcome to Royal Signet College. Royal Signet College is a mission-based, free tuition, co-educational secondary school. The aim of this school is to bring up godly offsprings who would become institutional leaders, industrial leaders, political leaders, and religious leaders in the future for the purpose of national development. Royal Signet College is fully compliant to the COVID-19 protocol to ensure that our students are in good health.
Welcome back, our viewers, and also to our ambassador. Thank you so much for shedding more light. And I have one last question from my end before I yield to Daniel. There's a question from Ade from Texas, and he said he applied for his passport renewal online as directed, but 3 months down the line, he realized that he got an email or there was like a status message that came that it was a wrong email address that he used. And he said he tried to start all over again, but the system would not allow him to go further in the process, saying that his email address was wrong. So he's at a crossroad. How can he resolve this issue, sir?
I don't understand what you mean by email address in connection with his visa, passport application. Did you get the fact of his problem very well? Email address? Is it email address?
Yes, according to the question he asked, he said that the system popped up to say his email address was wrong.
Which system? Well, what I'll advise in the circumstances, perhaps he did not package his challenge very well. Let him also write us officially. Okay. Because if he writes us, because if taking this platform, he may not have been exhaustive with what the challenge is experiencing. I think the appropriate thing for him to channel a letter, an email, like send an email on that letter and copy me. Mr. Emma has my number, my email address. You can copy me, and so that I will specifically follow it up to understand what the challenge is. You understand? So that we don't waste time here.
I can write. I don't have it.
Okay. Yeah. We will get it across to our viewers. We'll probably put it in the chat box. Thank you so much for shedding more light, and I will yield to the host.
Thank you so much for being with us. We really appreciate you today. And viewers, for me, I know that we are well educated on the operations of Nigerian Consulate in Atlanta than we used to be. The next question I'm going to take, Ambassador, now is going into politics. Nigerian American, like my colleague talked about, dual citizenship. They want to participate in the electoral processes in Nigeria so that they can actually have their voices in politicians that are actually elected to electoral offices. How would you make this dream become a reality?
Oh, thank you so much for that question. Of course, Nigerian diasporans are very integral aspect of the government of Nigeria is because you have a lot of them abroad, and the number is so enormous. If you check if you gather them together, so together they can make some difference. And it has to do with the issue of deciding or influencing who becomes their leaders. As a matter of fact, I will tell you that federal government, Nigeria, and the legislative arm has not been resting on their oars when it comes to issue of trying what can be done to ensure that Nigerian diasporans participate in determining who elects them or getting involved in the elections that happening back home, just like it's obtainable in some countries that they are like United States and other countries. The issue of a case for diaspora voting can be dates back to around 2012 when the then chairman of Nigerians, chairman House Committee on Nigerians in Diaspora, Mrs. Abike Dabiri Erewa, who is the current chair of NISCOM, Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, led a team of 6 other legislators to go to make a case to sponsor a bill to amend the Electoral Act of 2010, which will enable the Nigerians in diaspora to vote during national election overhead in Nigeria. Starting from that standpoint, the case for diaspora voting has persisted. Recently, I will tell you that it has come to advanced stage. But having said that, the most important 2 issues that are central to enabling the diasporans to vote during elections in Nigeria has to do with amendment of one is amending the relevant constitution that will enable Nigerians in diaspora to vote during general elections in Nigeria, and secondly, amending the Electoral Act 2010, the 2010 Electoral Act. These things are legislations, so it is in the hands of the National Assembly, which have been working relentlessly because they have seen that the importance of diaspora voting should no longer be overemphasized. So the parliament, Nigerian parliament, or what you call National Assembly, is working in collaboration with the NISCOM, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and other relevant institutions to make sure that this will become a reality and sooner than we expect it, as a matter of fact. But having said that, there is also another important thing is in the hands of our diasporans. You know, for you to vote for an election, you have to meet some criteria which centers on registration. So by the time the legislative aspect legislation aspect is carried out and completed, the onus will be on the diasporans in various countries to also try to organize themselves. Not necessarily organizing into political parties, making sure that you didn't personally disenfranchise yourself. For instance, at that moment, there may be call from various diplomatic missions that Nigerians who are abroad that are within the adult suffrage should come and register their presence and register themselves and their families in the diplomatic mission, because the INEC cannot do it from there. It has to make use of the diplomatic missions abroad. So we will also seek the cooperation and understanding of our diasporans whenever that call is extended to you to come to register your families and yourselves and families in the appropriate register for you to be coordinated for preparatory to making sure you participate during general elections. So it has two wings: the legislative aspect and the one that has to do with our diaspora. Whenever they're called, invited to put their name down, they will not just begin to say, no, it's not. What am I going to benefit from it? It is the same thing, this and that. If you don't vote, the fact remains that you are indirectly voting into power. Somebody wouldn't like to elect to rule you. So keeping away from voting is an indirect or saying I want an inappropriate person to be there to rule me. So that is the essence of voting. So your voting is your right. So by the time this legislative aspect is coordinated, the mission will be available to work with you to ensure that everything is achieved in such a manner that everybody will be satisfied and happy. Thank you.
Thank you so much for simplifying it for us. Before we go to the closing segment, I want to take you on this question that just came onto us from New York. Mike called from New York, and the question is that, I know that is not under your jurisdiction, but I understand that you guys do things together. If you can communicate with your colleagues that are under that jurisdiction. His question was that there was a time that, just like my colleague said, he has finished his own part of the processing, and then they asked him to turn in a self-addressed envelope. He did it, and then they told him that he should be expecting his documentation within a certain window of time, and that time passed. And then he called them. They said it was ready, but he didn't see it, so he went, traveled all the way, to the office there. And then when he arrived at the facility, they told him that he should go back and wait. Do you have any policy that you cannot pick your document by hands if you had already, turned in a self-addressed envelope?
Which emission did this one happen?
You said in New York.
In New York. Well, we don't have the policy before COVID, the COVID era, where we are not experiencing any challenges with social distancing and personal contact with people, person-to-person contact. People could come, like most people that applied within Atlanta, they didn't need to turn in anything like self-addressed envelope. They could come to the consulate when they are given prompting that their passport is being ready to come and pick it personally. But with COVID around, so all the diplomatic missions discourage personal contacts. So that is the essence of asking to turn in your self-addressed envelope. We mail it to you, because the more it is better, the more you have contact with people, the more you can infect or get infected. So that is the essence. So maybe after COVID-19 era, if it faces out, we'll also go back to the normal way. So in the case of that individual, I don't know what actually transpired, whether actually the passport was ready and the person flew into the country and they had to go back. I mean, I don't think that if the passport is readily available, that it wouldn't have been possible for the person to obtain it. But another important thing is this: you don't also come to a diplomatic mission and then without notification. You don't do it. So you have to book an appointment. I'm coming. They say, okay, come, and they'll be ready, because it's not only you that has been attended to, especially this era of this peak season, where everybody wants to get their passports or travel document to travel. So people, we are overwhelmed. Both consulate, the consulates in New York and Atlanta, of course, the Washington D.C. mission, all of us are overwhelmed. So we have to really streamline our program of work and make sure that we have program. We have, that is why we insist on appointment before you come. When you come, if you want to take 40 people a day, we take those 50 people. If you come without appointment, we don't encourage walking for whatever the reason may be. So if you walk in, you destabilize our program already, because we may not be prepared for you in the era of COVID. So that is probably what transpired.
Thank you so much. And before we get to our closing segment, because our time is fast spent now, I want you to, in one or two words, say to the people under your jurisdiction, Nigerians in America, what is their own expectation, and give us the estimated number of business days that you can receive your documentation, various documentation, whether it's passport or visa, or can you just tell us, in summary, how many business days it take?
Okay, for passport to be ready or whatever.
Yeah,
now,
for passport.
What we are doing now is within our system. With the system we are putting ground, as far as Nigerian Consulate is concerned, no passport production stays more than 5 days before it is ready now. 5 business days. In fact, between 3 days and 5 days, your passport is produced. Some passports are, in fact, we are working towards ensuring that within 48 hours, the passport is produced ready, with the caliber of with what the consulate and the leadership has put in place. With the cooperation of our immigration officers, and then the head of mission, the consul general, the instruction that within a period of 5 working days, your passport is produced. Any other delay could be through transit, through the mails or whatever, because the mailing system is also overwhelmed because most people are shipping things now. That is the only thing that causes delays. And I have seen instances where our immigration colleagues, are producing a passport within 48 hours. The passports are ready. The passport passes through different segments. But for emergency travel certificate, it takes 24 hours. It is ready. Then for visa, 5 working days, it is produced. So these are the things that within 48 hours, the government are giving us, the passport is made available if there are no challenges. But there are other things that are put into consideration because of the peculiarity of the environment we found ourselves, including weekends, depending on the day. If the person completes the application on a Friday, you don't work Saturday and Sunday, then Monday we begin the processing. So these are things that are put into consideration. So we are out to render service to our compatriots, but we need their cooperation and understanding. They should deal directly with the consulate. This is a very important message. They should deal directly with the consulate, they deal directly with the mission in Washington, D.C., and deal directly with the consulate in New York, and of course in Atlanta here. So that if there is any mistake, we know who to trace it. Oftentimes, we find it difficult to address the challenges because they have circumvented us and gone through the third parties. And these third parties create problems for us. And by the time the damage is done, we begin to make making a damage control becomes a difficult thing, and they will say it is way. People are staying in their premises. I heard you say they stay in their premises. They pay for government of this host authority approved their premises to do business centers. We cannot influence them and say shut down your business. We are not.
Thank you so much, Ambassador. Ambassador Designate Ambassador Innocent Aloma Iweju, we thank you so much, and by extension, we want to extend our appreciation to the Honorable Consular General Ajia Aisha Musa, who actually work assiduously to make this teaching and communication today possible. We thank you so much for honoring our invitation. And when next time we call on you, this conversation, we have opened it, and it's going to be a continuous conversation. We do hope that you will come back with us. Thank you so much, and we appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, Ambassador, and enjoy your holiday.
Thank you so much, you too, and please enjoy your husband. I wish you Merry Christmas and then Happy New Year in view. Thank you again for having us.
And then viewers, this is where we are going to draw the curtain on our program today, your Community Resource Program Network. Thank you. It's going to be a continuous program, and next time, get ready with your questions. The Consulate General in Atlanta here is ready to work with us and to make us comfortable with our travel plans. Thank you, and next time we'll see you. Bye.
Bye.
The world could be a better place with love and unity. Together, we shall conquer the world. Linkway Diplomats is working to solve problems in needy areas such as water problem, community empowerment, community health, basic education, temporary shelters for homeless and travelers, rehabilitation and integration for inmates. Linkway Diplomats, linking people with people. Your community resource network.